Now we get to some of the really cool stuff. In my mind, there's really only one logical reason that Microsoft has taken the clean install road to upgrades, and that's hardware. In Microsoft's defense, I have to point out, we installed Windows 7 successfully on computers that would not run Vista. It wouldn't run Vista, but they run Windows 7 fine. And if you thought wireless printers were cool, just wait. You're going to see that Windows 7 is set up to connect with hardware devices that are not even out yet. Now, make another change here. Just imagine this. This brand new Ford, actually it's about 4 or 5 new computers, but imagine connecting your cell phone, your MP3 player, your video camera, your watch, and your new Ford Taurus all in one place. And then, with a touchscreen, you don't even need a keyboard. Wow, now that is amazing. And this is very, very hot stuff right now. This car is so cool, I'll tell you. Anyway, this car is really cool. Okay, getting back to the reasons for having a clean install. After we installed Vista on some computers, it took literally months to get the hardware manufacturers to get out the compatible drivers. Manufacturers don't like having to redesign drivers for older hardware, especially if they don't sell it anymore. Now, Microsoft took a lot of the criticism for this when it was actually the hardware manufacturer's fault. Most of the manufacturers were too busy milking XP to spend anything on research. Even now, there are many printers and scanners and video cards and other hardware that are barely running on Vista. They're running without a lot of the features that used to work in XP. These hardware manufacturers had 2 years before Vista came out to get the right drivers, but on some of them, they still don't have the right drivers. There's also another thing that you cannot blame Microsoft for. Okay, that other thing, letting the IT infrastructure outsource all your Windows support. Now, this is kind of a sore spot with me. A lot of the companies have outsourced most of their support, and a lot of it turns out not to be even outsourced within this country. So it's pretty hard for a guy to drive out from China or India or whatever to fix your computer. All of a sudden, the corporate big shots, they're going to see where the money's not going. And they're basically going to be blamed for the oversight. The support people are calling this poetic justice. But face it, it was going to happen sooner or later. And I don't mean the outsourcing. I mean the return of the outsourcing, because you basically have no service. Now, to make matters worse, the corporations have created even more problems because they're not able to get their experienced support people back. This problem is worse than you can imagine. Let me give you an example. We have a company that outsourced their network and Windows support. And this company is real proud that all the employees pass these real stringent background checks. But they never bothered to check the company that they outsourced everything to. We found out that the support was also outsourced again by the foreign company. Now we got a nightmare. It appears, we're not sure, it appears that the support was outsourced again to 2 foreign companies. We're not sure exactly how many. We know it's at least 2. Now, during this time, the network has been working all along, and nobody can say why. And the Windows support, which was paid for, doesn't even exist. Now, I have to get on my little soapbox a little bit, because doesn't anybody see a problem here? Is there any wonder how 5 million credit card numbers are stolen every month? Does any corporate executive see how unfriendly governments got our trade secrets? Is the IT infrastructure going to blame Microsoft when all the customer information is stolen? I mean, why not? After all, they blame Microsoft when the upgrades don't work, or when the deployments don't work, or when the hardware doesn't work. Blaming Microsoft just seems to be the way to go. This gives me another minor reason for Microsoft to choose the clean install path, and that is security. You know, I'd like to grab a few corporate presidents and ask them, how much software has been left on your personal computers by competing foreign support companies. You know, they don't even have a clue. Then I would ask, how many bullet holes have been left there by all the viruses and trojans that you've had over the last couple of years of using that computer? Or how many drive-by shootings did you get when you were at some of the websites that you shouldn't embed at? It's probably a good thing they don't know. Off on a tangent. I do that occasionally when it comes to certain subjects that I really feel are important, such as security. The main thing about the security item is when you start with a clean install, you're getting rid of all the junk that's already on the computer. So if you've had viruses and the viruses have left a lot of bullet holes, well, you're just starting it all over again with a clean slate, and you don't have to worry about all that stuff. Going back to the upgrading, you're going to see that your company that you're working for generally is going to be asking the same questions that you're asking. They're going to ask, should we upgrade to Windows 7? They're going to see better performance, a great new taskbar, arrow peek, arrow snap, jump list, all the stuff you've heard about. And they're going to see a lot of other stuff too that you haven't heard about, such as SOAP-based native code, XP mode, Action Center, branch cache, and OpenXML features. They see all this stuff, they're going to say yes. I just hope it doesn't send you a bunch of DVDs, some instructions about migsetup.exe, and a little note to have a nice day. In addition, you're going to see that a lot of the upgrades, a lot of the XP upgrades to Windows 7 are working out much better than a lot of the upgrades from XP to Vista did. The reason is that Windows 7 manages memory much better than Vista did. You won't want to be left out. The difference between Vista and Windows 7 is greater than the difference between Windows 2000 and Windows XP. Do you guys remember Windows 2000? Well, it was a big difference, that's for sure. It's much greater than that. There's so many different things about Windows 7 that you're going to like. If you're running XP right now, it's probably going to be very, very easy to run Windows 7. You may have to spend a little money upgrading your memory, maybe getting a base on it. Maybe you're going to need a video card. The cost is insignificant compared to a new. The opposite may also be true. Some people are going to look at the cost and say, hey, if I have to spend so much money, I might as well buy a new computer. Well, that's where these videos are going to help you make the decision. We're going to let you know exactly where the lines lie and really help you make the intelligent decision. Do I buy a new one or do I upgrade the old one and spend a little money? But the bigger issue is, what about all my applications? Remember the paradox? What if I'm running XP? What about all my data? What about all my email? What about all my MP3s? What about all my videos? That's a big problem. Except for identical versions of Vista, you'll have to perform a clean install and then reinstall all your application and bring back your data. This means that you're also going to have to find all your installation keys for all the software that you're going to reinstall. It's also going to take some time and planning. We're going to show you exactly what you need to know in order to get all this done. By bringing out all the bad news first, you're going to be able to help anticipate what you're going to need and what you're going to have to do. Windows 7 is absolutely a giant leap from Vista, and anything you're expecting is probably not even close to what really you're going to wind up with. I mean, people really like this operating system. We have senior citizens right now that are running this operating system, and they love it. My 10-year-old is running this operating system. I can't get the computer away from him. Windows 7 is also pushing out the connectivity to everything imaginable, allowing you to free yourself from your desk in your office. If you can hear it, if you can watch it, if you can touch it, if you can save to it, or if you can talk to it, Windows 7 is going to be connecting to it. So stay tuned for the videos. The next videos I'm going to give out are going to be on the free tools that you can use to analyze your computer. Thank you.